Okay, so why do any of this? Why try and mess around with the education system? If you look at adults today and ask them what is really important to their life, they'll tell you things like financial stability, physical health, emotional and mental well-being and regulation, the quality of relationships and community, their sense of purpose in life. On any of these topics, if you look at the normal lifespan of a human being and see which period of their life they spend actually trying to figure these things out in a systematic manner so that they can understand what it is that's important to them, where they're going, and how to get there, you see that this just isn't happening. We aren't doing this. We aren't spending any time trying to figure out for each individual what it is that's important to them. You'll have people go through their entire lives doing jobs, working for money, based on very vague ideas of what it means to be happy in their life. And if you ask them, they'll spend thousands of days getting an education, thousands of days working 9 to 5. There'll be a whole lot of anguish and anxiety surrounded by all these things. What job am I going to get? What about all this competition? Look at this other person who's doing better than me. It's the cause of so much anxiety, pain, and misery in the world. And yet, if you look at how much time people are actually spending to understand what it is that's important to them, it's almost nothing. And that's just crazy to me. That's just absolutely mind-blowing, stupid to me as a way of operating in the world. We don't live in a world anymore which has a very set standard of parameters. It's not just grow up, have a family, have kids, and you'll live a happy life. People have very individual, personal needs and desires today in terms of what they want to do with their time. Some people want to travel and see the world, and other people want to have community and build meaningful relationships. And yet the amount of time attributed to figuring out what is important to you, creating a plan of action to get there, and then working on the things that you need to do in order to build your capacity to better facilitate your goals is something that nobody spends any time on. If you look at OKRs or any of these management structures where they talk about how certain things are to be achieved in a corporate environment, it would be very simple. You outline very clearly in numbers what your goals and objectives are. You break those down into smaller pieces. You hire people that bring a certain set of skills or a certain set of resources. You create a roadmap on how to get there. You have periodic reviews and assessments of how you're doing on those paths. You have 100 kinds of interventions when people think you're straying away from it. And yet within the context of our own lives, we don't use any of these management techniques. We don't use any of this wisdom that's readily available to improve the quality of our lives. We don't do this in terms of finances. You'll have people working their entire lives in order to get a salary. Then when they have that salary, spend most of it on things which are temporary short-term impulses, never developing an investment portfolio, never leveraging money to work for them, never setting themselves up in a way where their life becomes easier. And this is well documented, easily available knowledge. You can get this in a financial literacy course, but you have to, as an adult, you have to go try and find these courses in order to understand these things. For people that work on their physical health, they have to go to gyms, find coaches, go through 100 different methodologies before they finally arrive at one that works for them. And yet these are some of the most important things in our life. There's so much information available on emotional regulation, mental well-being. There's 1,000 techniques which can be taught to children at an early age, so they don't have to go figure all this out as adults. They don't have to first suffer, break down, and then as a remedy try and find patchwork fixes for each one of these things. If you look at the categories of self-help books or topics that are popular today, you'll find that the top categories are health and fitness, money or finances, meaning or purpose, and your relationships and how you're doing. And all of these things have good ideas and bad ideas. And I'm not suggesting for a second that we should decide for anyone what it is that they want to do. But if you create the space and an environment for somebody to think about what it is that is important to them, what are the various methodologies that are known today that help us get there, and which ones they want to participate in, and then consciously architect their lives in a way which gets them closer to their desires, you would take away so much pain and so much misery in the world. I see so many people overcoming this as a result of the individual effort that they put in as adults. And yet nobody goes back with this understanding to say, maybe we need to relook at the education system. Maybe we need to relook at the education system and create a framework that allows for this to happen for little children, so that they don't actually have to go through this whole misery and don't actually have to suffer so much before they figure these things out and come back and try to solve them. You could teach children from a very early age how important sleep is, how important nutrition is, which foods are healthy, which foods are not healthy. When it comes to the physical body, what are the type of exercises you can do to develop strength and what that means in terms of quality of life as you grow up. You can explain to children at an early age that having a certain amount of savings and investing them in various asset classes gives you returns which make your money work for you, hence taking the pressure away from you on a regular basis to keep going out and earning a salary to give you a far more comfortable life. It's a far better strategy to do that than to just keep working for a higher salary, a higher raise, and drive yourself crazy in the process of doing it. So there are definitely some good ideas, and there's a certain amount of understanding which is readily available in the world, which improves the quality of people's lives. And yet we have to go and find books, find online coaches, take courses to figure out all these things as adults. And even then, they're not perfectly fit into a framework. Most often you'll have people who go and work on 2 or 3 of these things, but not on all of those things. Now imagine a school situation where this was the framework that was used to start dispensing education. And then everything that you were taught was to fit a particular skill that you needed in order to get you to where your goals are. How much easier would your life be, and how much pain and suffering would you have escaped if things were done in this manner? I just don't understand it. I think it's fucking crazy, to be honest.